Can you manifest your intrusive thoughts? Every single time I make an intrusive thoughts video, somebody comments, but what if I manifest my thoughts? Intrusive thoughts are invasive, unwanted, distressing, and scary, and they can feel really overwhelming to you because they're usually wildly inappropriate. Many people keep them internally. They don't share them with people because they're afraid of what others might think of them. If you're struggling with intrusive thoughts, you're probably judging yourself. You're probably wondering, why am I having this in the first place? What does it say about me? Intrusive thoughts can come out of nowhere. They can be persistent in cases of anxiety and OCD, or they can come up in specific situations as well. Here are some examples of some of the most common intrusive thoughts that I hear. But as always, I'd like to offer a trigger warning before I give the examples of intrusive thoughts, just in case it might trigger you or overwhelm you. What if I hurt this baby? Babies are a big one, specifically around new mothers. So they might think about throwing a baby down the stairs or throwing the baby out the window or even shaking their baby. Another common one is having sexual thoughts about somebody inappropriate, like your father, your mother, your sibling, your boss, somebody that you would never actually want to have sex with, but you might find yourself thinking about having sex with that person in very big and inappropriate ways and scary ways, sometimes even violent ways. Another very common one is having thoughts around stabbing somebody or hurting somebody, tripping somebody. One of the ones I hear a lot in my practice are, I can't be around knives because whenever I'm trying to chop something up, I get these wild images in my mind about stabbing my friend or my brother or somebody who's sitting right next to them, or maybe even harming themselves, like cutting their finger off. So intrusive thoughts can come in many forms and categories. They can be sexual, they can be harm, they can be about religion and morality, they can be about yourself and who you think you are as a person. They could come in what if forms, so like what if I do this thing? What if I can't control myself? What if I drive myself off the side of the road? Or they can come in the form of what sounds like a command, like do it, stab your friend, throw the baby out the window, trip your grandma. People that struggle with intrusive thoughts like this, specifically around the things that are considered to be taboo, end up withdrawing from things that they love and people they love and activities they love because they are so afraid that they're actually going to lose control and carry out these things. So let's go into the big question. What if I manifest these thoughts? I'm having these thoughts all the time. They're coming into my mind nonstop, and now I'm worried that somehow I'm going to manifest it. And that can be so overwhelming, so scary, and I'm gonna give you a peace of mind right now. You cannot manifest your intrusive thoughts. There is no such thing as manifesting a thought into reality by just thinking it. You cannot manifest $1 million by just sitting there and just thinking of manifesting $1 million. You cannot manifest somebody dying just by sitting there and thinking about that person dying. Your thoughts are thoughts. They have zero control in what happens in the external world. Manifestation happens because of action. So if you sit there and you think about having $1 million, you're not going to just suddenly have money raining down on you and become a millionaire now or in 6 months. But the chances are that if you think of manifesting $1 million, that maybe your actions around that, if you want it bad enough, will cause you to start behaving in ways to get that to happen. The science behind manifestation is there's a thought. The thought leads to different behaviors, action, and those actions then lead to the possibility of receiving whatever it is that you are trying to quote unquote manifest. This is good news. This is good news because that means that if you don't want to manifest stabbing somebody or hurting somebody or throwing a baby out the window, it's not going to happen because the action piece is missing. So as far as disturbing intrusive thoughts go, you cannot manifest them because you don't want to. And given the amount of distress and overwhelm that these thoughts cause you, it's very clear to say that you don't want these things to happen. So if you do struggle with intrusive thoughts that are really distressing to you, I want you to remind yourself of something that you may not have heard before. I want you to remind yourself that your brain is making a risk assessment. Most people that struggle with intrusive thoughts tend to have anxiety or OCD. And because of this, you're always in fight or flight. What happens is your brain is constantly scanning the environment to see what could go wrong because it's trying to protect you or prevent you from having things go wrong. This manifests in these intrusive thoughts. You see a baby and your thought is, what if I harm the baby? What if I throw the baby out the window? Chances are that that is the worst thing that could happen. And so your brain is kind of sending that signal saying, what if, so that you can pay attention to it and not make it happen. So what you can remind yourself of is, my brain is making a risk assessment. assessment. It's just telling me what could go wrong. And it has nothing to do with who I am, my values, what I actually want to do, and who I am as a person. I want to leave you with this metaphor that I find extremely helpful. When you pick up a magazine, you might flip through the pages and you might see ads for things that you really like, and you also see ads for things that you really dislike. But when you're flipping through the magazine, you're not looking at these ads that you hate and thinking, I have to buy this thing. Oh my gosh, why did they show me this ad? I need to buy this thing. We don't do that, right? We are very well aware that the ads exist in the magazine and we can still enjoy the things that we want to enjoy in the magazine without having to buy into the ads that we don't like. So your brain is very much the same way. Think of your intrusive thoughts as these bad ads in the magazine that you don't like. What that means is allow them to be there. Focus on the things you do like. And just because you see an ad in a magazine does not mean you have to buy it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If you struggle with intrusive thoughts, let me know in the comments below what questions you have about this. I know this is a very big topic. I know that there's a lot of misinformation out there about it. Chat with me below, ask me your questions, and as always, I will see you in the next video.